I decided to do some further modification to this case from what I got from MNCP Tech. So basically I don't have much demand for a lot of hard drive storage, so I have two places here to put my SSD and maybe another hard drive if I have to, but even in the case I need more hard drives, there's a tons of 525 slots on the top. So these parts can be used for some water cooling components, and usually I don't like to put anything on the bottom of the Corsair case because running tubes through those two holes never look nice. So what I will do, I will unscrew a few screws on the front, slide this whole construction out, and I will drill rivets to remove this panel. So I will have this square area fully available for whatever I want, and I can hide the pumps or anything else. After drilling is completed, I freed big chunk of the space inside of my case from all hard drive components, and how I would like to use it for this particular build, I'd like to go with slightly unorthodox approach and use two bay devices that typically mounted on the front of the case, and here we have coolant's bay reservoir and my controller, but I would like to mount it inside of the case, and the size of both devices by accident is just perfect match for this opening. So you see is its exact size. So I really like that idea. So what I'm after, I would like to have orange coolants which will be glowing. So I have this orange window here, and I have this LCD screen on top of that. I probably will control only my case fans with this controller, and I still use my aqua air on the front for controlling pump speed and my fans for the radiator. So I will split a little bit, but when you open the case and show all your cables and your tubing, I think it might look pretty cool. So this is a showcase build, so let's go for that. I also would like to make a separate comment on a coolant's reservoir. I never did any review of that, but there's one particular difficulty I experienced when I worked with this reservoir. So when you mount your pump on the side of the coolant's reservoir, you need to put it in and attach that ring that holds the pump on. The threads on the ring is very, very fine, and the whole assembly is rather tight. So when you make assembly, make sure you don't strip your threads, because I almost ruined that, and it's a very expensive piece of equipment. It's basically $100+. So be careful with that. Don't force it, because if you strip your threads, like what you will do is it goes to the garbage, right? So another thing that I will have to figure out is this is internals of that assembly. So how I will route tubing away from this particular area behind of the case. So it will be interesting exercise. Connection of in and out of for the water for the loop itself is somewhat close to the behind of the case, but the filling port is actually very close to my controller, and kind of tricky situation, but we'll see what I will do, and I will try to use a small fittings that are less obstructive, doesn't touch anything on PCB, or I need some sort of protection to make sure nothing will shortcut it. And if I have some leaks, wow, that will be another interesting thing, but we'll try to make sure nothing breaks on the way. So the next step, we need to look again, still need to make a decision about fittings, and I will show what actually I'm going after, and show you some close up on the motherboard, and you will see what I mean. Here I put a small quick assembly of the CPU and memory area with both type of fittings that I still consider, silver and black. So when I put my original picture and ask your opinion, 90% of people said go black. I was agree with that, but I think that my picture in my video was in a way a little bit misleading. I have a small black fitting with an orange tube sticking on it, and definitely black looks much better. But now when I will go to the real life exercise and I have to use 90-degree massive compression fittings on my blocks, so what we have here, and I kind of don't like it too much now, is that I have this big black blob of color in front of my shiny block, and it's a little bit too much obstructive. And also, on the other hand, or I would say on top of that, when I will complete the build, I put lights on, everything glowing in the dark and everything. So from the silver fitting, at least you get some light bouncing, so it will be a little bit more better looking visually with in a dark environment. Black, it will be just, again, it will be black blob of shadow in front of the fittings, just obstructing the view. And I think for the sake of the glowing part of the build, the silver look like a better choice here. Still, I will have use both colors, because for the front of the build I will use silver, so it's all glowing and reflecting the color of the LEDs and everything. But on the back parts that I don't want to be visible, I continue to use black fitting and black tube, so it will be look more neat. My main challenge with this particular situation that all these connections, first of all, they're very close to each other. Second, they're totally on different level. So level this and level that, its difference is 45 millimeters. So I have to extend my fitting somehow to level them up and make sure that I can meet them on the same level and have a nice tube routing without ugly bends or anything like this. So that's something that I need to figure out for the central part, as well as all back radiator and my reservoir connections, how to route it properly, how to make sure the tube doesn't bend, and so things like this.